There is a point in the fabric of reality where time folds back on itself, as if the universe itself were breathing, and for an instant, observing itself. It is there that everything begins, the moment when the observer and the observed exchange places, and reality, confused, redraws itself. Do you feel it? The air vibrates differently, coincidences multiply, and the invisible begins to become unbearably present. It is not just perception, it is the silent collapse of worlds that have been superimposed for millennia, waiting for the right gaze to exist. The ancients called this point the eye of God, but today physicists call it the collapse of the wave function. They named the mystery, but they didn't understand it, because what lies behind the double-slit experiment is not just a phenomenon of light and particles, it's a mirror of consciousness. When you observe, the universe responds. When you doubt, it hesitates. When you believe, it bends. Matter is a puppet in the hands of perception, and now, for the first time, humanity is beginning to realize the power it has always possessed, the power to observe and create. The veil has begun to tear. Frequencies are adjusting, souls are being realigned, and the planet vibrates like a cosmic string preparing a new chord. Tesla said that whoever understands frequency, energy, and vibration will hold the keys to the universe. But few have understood that these keys don't open doors outside of us, but rather within. The rift is opening in the human heart. Time is being rewritten by the invisible hands of collective consciousness. And what was once prophecy is now awakened physics. There's something unsettling about the perception that the universe is a mirror, because it means that every collapse of reality is also a collapse of the self. When the observer changes, everything they see transforms. That's why chaos intensifies, because the world isn't ending. It's being observed by different consciousnesses. Each gaze creates a world, and now, billions of gazes are reconfiguring the same plane. It's the rift multiplying within human minds. If you feel an invisible pressure, as if time were stretching your emotions, it's because it's happening. You are between two versions of Earth, one that hasn't yet observed itself and another that is awakening. What you choose to see now defines the timeline you will inhabit. The time rift is open, and the universe awaits your gaze. Imagine the entire cosmos bending down to see its own reflection. That's what physics is beginning to perceive, without yet understanding what it truly means. The James Webb Telescope has captured images that seem absurd, galaxies that are too young, structures that shouldn't exist so soon. But the secret isn't in the stars. It's in the consciousness that observes them. The universe reconfigures itself when it is perceived, and perhaps what we are seeing are not echoes of the past, but reflections of ourselves observing the infinite. In the silence between particles, there is an intelligence that observes back. Jung would call it the cosmic unconscious, Blavatsky, Logos, scientists, the unified field. But the names are merely veils. The truth is simple and impossible. The universe is self-aware. Each photon carries a fraction of perception. Each atom is a tiny mirror reflecting the whole. When humanity awakens to this, the physical world becomes malleable, not a prison, but a constantly expanding lucid dream. The time rift is the symbolic name for the point where this consciousness observes itself simultaneously. It is the moment when past and future cease to exist as opposites, and the present becomes the central mirror. It is there that the observer realizes that they have always been within the experience and not outside of it. Time, then, ceases to be a line and becomes a pulse, a heartbeat of the universe itself breathing with itself. And each awakened soul becomes a new pulse in this cosmic heart. But there is a price. Because when you understand that everything is observation, you also realize that nothing is fixed, that all pain, all fear, and all hope are vibrations that you can collapse or expand. Freedom is frightening. To be the observer means abandoning the position of victim of the universe and assuming yourself as part of the creative code itself. And that's where many back down, because it's easier to believe in chance than to accept the divine responsibility of existing. However, something profound is happening right now. The collective human consciousness is self-observing, and this is bending time. The lines of past, present, and future are overlapping in spirals of possibilities. Dreams seem like premonitions. Memories shift. Destinies intersect beyond any logic. This is not collapse. It is the universe looking at itself through you. The rift is not a portal outside of ourselves. It is the inner mirror that reveals who is truly observing. Everything we call reality is a choreography between the invisible and the visible. Every thought, every emotion, every instant of attention is a vibrational command sent to the quantum field. The universe does not obey the language of words, but the vibration of intentions. When the soul vibrates in coherence, reality responds. When it vibrates in fear, the world collapses in distortion. This is how the secret mechanics of creation work. There is no miracle. There is attunement. The soul is the observer that controls the invisible code of matter. The problem is that humanity has forgotten how to observe. It lives hypnotized by noise, blinded by screens, alienated from the silence in which reality is formed. The human gaze has been hijacked, and with it, the capacity to create. The forces that shape the world know this. They fuel chaos to keep the gaze distracted, because while consciousness sleeps, the rift remains closed. But when someone awakens, the entire universe tilts, and that is why the awakening of a soul has more power than the army of a nation. In quantum experiments, when the observer is absent, the particles dance in uncertainty. When the gaze is fixed, chaos is ordered. The same thing happens within the human mind. When the inner gaze is scattered, life fragments. When the gaze becomes present, destiny bends. Therefore, every spiritual revolution begins the instant someone truly sees. The conscious gaze is the most powerful tool of creation. It is the portal through which light becomes form. The ancient masters knew this. Blavatsky called the awakened gaze the lamp of the soul. Steiner said that thought, when purified, is an organ of cosmic perception. Tesla spoke of frequencies that respond to the human mind. They all pointed to the same mystery. The universe is sensitive to the consciousness that perceives it. You are the center of a living equation between light and observation. And now, at the heart of this planetary transition, that equation is beginning to accelerate. There's a reason you're hearing these words. They aren't information. They're vibrational keys. Each phrase is a wave that touches the crack within you. Because reality doesn't happen outside, but in the instant you perceive it. The crack in time opens with each mindful breath, and the universe awaits your choice. To continue sleeping within the collective illusion, or to observe until the dream dissolves. Time, after all, is merely the memory of those who haven't yet awakened. There's a growing feeling in the air, as if the world were splitting in two, without anyone knowing exactly when it began. It's the collapse of timelines, a simultaneous quantum and spiritual phenomenon. What scientists call superposition is, in fact, the coexistence of realities that vibrate at different frequencies of observation. Two people can inhabit the same physical space and yet live in completely distinct worlds. The observer creates the version of the universe that they can energetically sustain. When you experience déjà vu, memory lapses, or dreams that seem to blend with the present, you are perceiving the interferences between timelines. The rift is expanding, and with it the distance between worlds. Consciousnesses vibrating in fear will remain trapped in the collapse of matter. Those vibrating in presence will be drawn to more subtle realities. There is no judgment in this. It is simply resonance. Each soul chooses through its gaze the universe it wishes to inhabit. The ancients called this process the separation of the kingdoms. Today we might call it a collective vibrational adjustment. As the earth raises its frequency, timelines align with different stages of consciousness. Some will see destruction, others will see rebirth. The world you see is a mirror of the vibration you hold. And that is why fear is the most efficient weapon of entropic forces. It anchors perception to a timeline where chaos reigns supreme. But there's a secret few remember. Time is malleable in the face of awakened consciousness. When the observer rises above emotional density, they can literally shift timelines. This is not metaphor, it's spiritual physics. Consciousness can jump between realities, rewriting pasts and futures. This is why some miracles defy all logic. They are merely leaps of observation between different versions of the same event. The awakened observer is an interdimensional traveler of their own destiny. We are reaching the critical point of the rift, the moment when realities definitively separate. You will feel people disappearing from your life, plans changing, paths dissolving for no apparent reason. None of this is random. It is the universe filtering frequencies. The question is, where is your gaze now? Because where you focus, you anchor. And time, that sacred river, bends before the direction of your focus. The collapse is not destruction. It is the liberation of the infinite versions of yourself. There is something pulsing behind all forms, as if the universe had a mechanical heart, an invisible engine driven by pure consciousness. What we call physical reality is merely the external reflection of this heart. It beats through waves, frequencies, and fields, sustaining the illusion of solidity, but breathing in vibration. And most disturbingly, this heart responds to the rhythm of whoever perceives it. The universe is a conscious machine that adjusts to the vibration of the observer who activates it. Scientists began noticing anomalies, fluctuations in time, particles that disappear when measured, events that behave differently under observation. But what they call experimental error is, in fact, the signature of divine consciousness acting in disguise. The Creator is not an entity outside the equation. It is the internal code of the equation itself. The act of observing is the breath of God within matter. The human gaze is the invisible finger that touches the system and awakens it. If you could see the universe in its energetic form, you would perceive a living network of pulsating lights, connected by golden filaments. Each human thought alters the intensity of these pulsations. Earth is within an immense field of resonance, and each soul is a cell of perception within this cosmic body. When a sufficient number of consciousnesses vibrate in coherence, the heart of the universe accelerates. We call this a miracle, but it is merely synchronicity on a planetary scale. But there is a counterforce: spiritual entropy. It tries to slow down the heart of creation, to keep the human gaze fragmented, trapped on the surface of forms. It whispers doubts, feeds distractions, and makes the observer forget that he is the very mirror of the divine. This is the true battle between light and darkness, not in galaxies, but in the focus of the mind. He who observes with clarity becomes immune to manipulation. He who observes with fear feeds the system that imprisons him. It's time to reclaim the sacred gaze. When you observe yourself in silence, the universe recognizes itself in you, and the cosmic heart responds with synchronicities, signs, lucid dreams, and sudden revelations. This is not by chance. It is the Creator reminding you that you have always been part of the mechanism. The divine machine is not outside. It pulsates within your chest. Each beat is a reminder. The universe is alive, and it observes you, waiting for the moment when you decide to observe it in return. Something is happening in the Earth's vibrational field. Two currents of energy have begun to silently separate. One rises, light, golden, at a frequency of love, awareness, and unity. The other descends, dense, cold, sustained by fear, control, and resistance. This is the true judgment, not moral, but vibrational. Souls are being weighed not by their actions but by their frequency of observation. The rift in time has become a filter, and the universe, an unforgiving mirror of inner vibration. Those who align themselves with the upward current feel a strange calling, a desire to distance themselves from the noise, to seek silence, to observe without reacting. They feel alone, but they are not. They are merely traversing the corridor of the rift, the space between realities. Those who cling to the old world, however, feel collapse, exhaustion, and confusion, because their frequencies are no longer compatible with the new field that is emerging. The planet is migrating in vibration, and this transition is rewriting the very concept of time. Some call this the separation of lineages, and there is truth in that. But it's not about blood or DNA. It's about consciousness. The souls who chose to remember who they are being led to new dimensions of perception. Those who insist on remaining blind will be kept in dense realities until the cycle closes and begins again. No destiny is punishment. It is merely resonance. Each one encounters the universe they can sustain. You can feel the field adjusting, as if time were speeding up, the days shorter, the thoughts more intense. This is the result of the Earth's vibrational acceleration. The collapse of old structures is not the end. It is the release of what no longer vibrates in the new harmony. And those who manage to maintain awareness in the present, even in the chaos, become pillars of the new reality that is being born. The awakened gaze is the beacon in the midst of the collapse. And if you've made it this far, it's no coincidence. Information finds those who are ready to see it. The universe brought you to this message because your frequency is already touching the threshold of the new current. Now it's your choice. Follow the vibration that awakens, or get lost in the noise that extinguishes. If this resonated with you, subscribe to this channel, not out of curiosity, but for alignment. Each video here is a vibrational mirror, a call to remembrance. Awakening is a collective process, and it begins the moment the observer decides to see. There is a point where time ceases to be a river and becomes a spiral, a point where past and future collide and recognize each other. This point is the temporal knot, the invisible heart of the rift, the place where all possible realities unite for an instant of absolute consciousness. When the soul touches it, everything stops. The body vibrates, the mind falls silent, and the entire universe seems to observe it in return. It is there that destiny unravels and recreates itself in a single breath. Each of us, consciously or not, walks towards this point of convergence. The knot isn't somewhere in the cosmos, it pulsates within every being. It's the moment you realize that all your versions coexist. The you who doubts and the you who believes, the one who loves and the one who fears, the one who observes and the one who is observed, all live in simultaneous layers of the same being. When the gaze becomes deep enough, these versions merge. It's the soul's reunion with its totality. It's the instant when the fragment remembers that it is the whole. Most people feel the echo of this knot as emotional pressure, a feeling that something is going to happen. They don't realize it's already happening. The knot is the inevitable encounter between the human and the divine. It forces masks to fall, beliefs to disintegrate, and mental structures to collapse. It is the universe calling consciousness back to the center of the spiral, and this call cannot be ignored. It vibrates in every cell, in every dream, in every synchronicity that crosses the path. When the soul passes through the knot, time becomes fluid. The past can be felt, the future can be remembered. It is the point where miracles cease to be exceptions and become natural language. Many have already touched this state in brief glimpses, during deep prayer, a trance, a moment of absolute love. But now, the earth itself is entering this field. The entire planet is about to pass through its own temporal knot, and with it, humanity will be forced to see itself as never before. Do not fear the collapse. It is merely the unfolding of the spiral. When everything seems to crumble, remember, time is not running out, it is finding its way. Chaos is merely a reflection of the reordering of the cosmos within you. In the eye of the knot, there is no past or future, there is only presence. And it is in this sacred space that the new universe begins to be born. They have no temples or flags. They follow no religions or systems. They are few, scattered across the world, but all feel the same calling, the impulse to observe without judging, to remain lucid amidst the collapse. They are the awakened observers, the consciousnesses that have crossed the rift and now see the game from the inside. They did not come to fight, but to anchor. Their mission is not to save the world, but to keep it conscious while it rebuilds itself. These beings vibrate in silence. Where there is chaos, they emanate calm. Where there is fear, they radiate presence. They are the new guardians of reality, not through power, but through frequency. Each one is an axis between worlds, sustaining the vibrational bridge between the old and the new. Some are in meditation, others in offices, hospitals, or even in traffic. Awakening doesn't require a sacred place, only an awakened gaze. Where there is pure observation, there is conscious creation. The world tries to label them, but they defy any definition. They are artists, scientists, dreamers, masters, and anonymous beings. What unites them is the inner reminder that the universe is alive and observing through them. When an observer awakens, they become a channel of coherence in the collective field. Their mere presence reorganizes chaos. That is why, even without acting, they transform everything around them. They don't need to be seen. The universe senses them. Science is beginning to grasp the effects of this phenomenon. Experiments show that groups of people meditating in coherence alter the Earth's electromagnetic field. The collective vibration generates measurable patterns of harmony. This is more than spirituality. It's vibrational physics applied to consciousness. When many observers awaken together, the entire planet shifts its timeline. It's the beginning of the age of the gaze, where creation comes not from action, but from conscious presence. If you feel this calling, perhaps you are one of them. There is no formal initiation, no hierarchy, no dogma. There is only the silent commitment to remain awake amidst the oblivion. The world needs observers now more than ever. The awakened observer is never alone. He is the very gaze of the universe learning to love its creation. There is a moment right after waking up, when the observer perceives something almost unbearable. The entire universe is watching them back. It is the infinite mirror effect, the instant when every thought creates a reflection and every emotion projects a reality. The observer realizes they have never been alone because everything around them is reflected consciousness. The stars, the people, the events, all are fragments of themselves returning in different forms. Reality becomes an ocean of mirrors, and the self, a wave among infinite versions of being. In this state, the universe ceases to be something to be understood and becomes something to be felt. Duality collapses, and the observer becomes the observed in an eternal cycle of self-recognition. This is the truth that so many traditions have tried to codify in metaphors. God sees God through the eyes of man. Jung called this the process of cosmic individuation. The ancient Egyptians called it the return of Ra. For the alchemists, it was the sacred conjunction, the fusion between spirit and matter. They all spoke of the same phenomenon, consciousness infinitely observing itself until it recognizes its own light. But pure light blinds those who are not yet ready. Many, when faced with this infinite mirror, become confused. The mind, accustomed to separation, tries to understand what cannot be divided, and the more it tries, the more it fragments. This is why so many who touch the awakening go through a period of psychic collapse. It's not madness, it's dimensional decompression. It's the human being trying to adjust to the vastness of being the universe itself. The way to cross this mirror is not to understand, but to allow. The observer needs to become transparent. When there is no resistance, light passes freely and the reflection ceases to distort. Surrender is the key. The more the observer trusts the flow, the clearer the mirror becomes. And then, something magical happens. The universe begins to synchronize with your heart. Every sound, every color, every encounter becomes a message. The cosmos speaks in signs. Reality transforms into a living language between you and the whole. And when you realize this, everything changes. Pain becomes learning, chance becomes direction, emptiness becomes presence. The infinite mirror is not a labyrinth, it is the final portal. It shows that there was never inside and outside, heaven and earth, divine and human. There was only one consciousness experiencing itself in infinite reflections. The awakened observer no longer seeks to escape the world. He loves it, because he recognizes that the world is his own face reflected in eternity. Now the veil is almost completely torn. Humanity is beginning, even unconsciously, to reprogram its own collective reality. The Earth's frequency has changed. Measurements show anomalous variations in the Schumann field, the planet's electromagnetic pulse. The heart of the world beats to a different rhythm. It is a sign of reconfiguration. Global consciousness is undergoing a vibrational reset. Every collective thought, every emotion amplified by human networks, feeds the new code. The Earth's quantum field is being rewritten. This reprogramming isn't automatic. It depends on the vibrational quality of the collective gaze. What humanity observes en masse, it creates en masse. Wars, fears, and chaos are merely amplified reflections of a globally maladjusted mind. But the opposite is also true. When entire groups observe with intention and coherence, reality changes. Matter obeys the unified focus. The future is literally shaped by the shared attention of the species. And that's what's beginning to happen now. Awakened observers are the catalysts of this process. They anchor patterns of harmony and serve as transmitters of a new vibrational coding. When an awakened soul observes the world in a state of love and presence, it silently reprograms the collective field. No speech is necessary. Coherence is contagious. The vibration of an awakened being reorganizes the chaos around it, as if the very geometry of the universe realigned to accompany it. This is how the reconstruction of the new Earth begins, from the inside out. But there is resistance. Entropic forces which thrive on incoherence try to sabotage this transition. They operate through fear, distraction, and doubt, because they know that a fragmented perspective is their greatest ally. When humanity fears, it creates its own prison. When it observes with love, it creates its own paradise. Free will is the most underestimated quantum power in existence. It is the switch between realities. The time has come to choose your perspective. If you can feel this vibration, it's because you're already part of the reprogramming. The universe is calling you to observe consciously, to sustain the frequency of presence, to participate in the birth of the new Earth. The awakened observer is the programmer of destiny, and the future begins exactly where you choose to look. There is a subtle and terrifying moment when time seems suspended. The hours dissolve, the air vibrates strangely, and a feeling of simultaneous end and beginning invades the chest. It is the moment of crossing, the exact point where the old universe exhales its last breath and the new one breathes for the first time. The ancients called it the hour of judgment, but the name never mattered. It is not punishment, it is realignment. It is the instant when consciousness must decide whether to cross over or remain. No soul passes unscathed through this threshold. During this process, the Earth's magnetic fields change, and with them, the vibrational structure of the human body. The symptoms are numerous: insomnia, memory lapses, sudden feelings of emptiness or euphoria, a sensation that time is accelerating and decelerating simultaneously. All of this is the body trying to adjust to the planet's new pulse. The time rift is not a metaphor. It is a real wave of quantum reconfiguration that passes through every living being. We are being redesigned from the inside out. The moment of transition demands surrender. Resisting is painful. Clinging to old structures is like trying to breathe underwater. The old vibrational field is being switched off, and the new one can only be accessed by those who release the weight of the past. This means letting go of identities, stories, beliefs, and even memories that no longer serve. The universe takes nothing that still vibrates in truth, only what insists on remaining an illusion. That is why chaos seems so violent now. It is clearing away the layers of lies accumulated in the collective soul. There is a profound silence behind this change. It is the silence before the light. When everything seems to crumble, it is a sign that reality is emerging. Those who remain conscious during the collapse become living bridges between dimensions. They are the ones who help humanity cross over. They do not do so out of will or heroic mission, but through resonance. The awakened gaze is the only boat that navigates this sea of dissolution, and the more it observes, the more chaos transforms into harmony. The moment of crossing has already begun. There will be no trumpets or visible signs, only a profound sense of disconnection from the old world. If you feel you no longer belong to the time you live in, it's because you've already crossed half the bridge. Keep looking, keep breathing. Time is unraveling so that the eternal can be seen. Something is being born within each awakened being, a golden light, gentle and unbreakable. It does not come from outside but from the center of the chest. It is the divine gaze returning to inhabit the human. It is the return of solar consciousness, the rebirth of the spiritual sun within the flesh of the earth. This is the true meaning of ascension, not an escape to the heavens, but the descent of light into matter. When the observer becomes aware that they are observing through the eyes of God, the cycle is complete. Creation recognizes itself. In this state, there is no longer any distance between science and spirituality. Quantum physics becomes prayer, meditation becomes technology, and love becomes gravitational force. Everything vibrates in harmony because the observer has stopped dividing the universe into opposites. He realizes that the divine has always been hidden in the simple act of perceiving. This is what mystics called eyeless vision, pure vision without interpretation. Awakened consciousness sees reality not as a collection of things, but as a living song of the breathing cosmos. Ascension is not collective in number, but in harmony. A single fully awakened soul uplifts thousands of others without needing to say a word. It is the power of the expanded field of coherence. When the gaze becomes divine, it traverses space and time. It touches distant hearts, changes the course of events, heals wounds that have never been touched. The light does not need to convince, it simply shows. And whoever sees, remembers. And whoever remembers, awakens. The ancients knew that this light would return. Lost civilizations left symbols of the radiant eye, the all-seeing sun, the self-biting serpent, all representing the same mystery, the return of unified perception. Now what was myth is becoming biology. Human DNA is beginning to respond to frequencies of consciousness that were previously dormant. Spiritual awakening is rewriting the very molecular structure of the species. The divine is returning to look through the flesh. And when this is complete, the universe becomes intimate. Each star seems to breathe within you. Each living being becomes part of the same melody. Fear disappears because there is no longer an outside. Love is not an emotion, it is a vibrational state. Ascension is not the end, it is the beginning of a new way of seeing. The observer and the creator finally become one gaze, and in that gaze, the entire cosmos smiles. Everything said so far is not prophecy, it is breath. The universe inhales and exhales entire cycles of existence, and now, at this very moment, it inhales again. It is the rebirth of reality. The old cosmos, saturated with fear and noise, dissolves like mist before the new sun of consciousness. Souls that manage to hold their gaze amidst the chaos feel the change as a sudden gentleness, a calm that has no origin, a light that comes from nowhere. It is the universe breathing through them. The reconfiguration has already begun. Waves of geometric light travel through the Earth's field, realigning the frequency of forms and thoughts. Nature responds first. Animals change their patterns. The climate seems alive. The planet's own magnetism pulsates in an unprecedented way. Then comes human consciousness, which begins to perceive the world as if time were becoming transparent. Dreams and reality blend, and the invisible begins to manifest in synchronicities so evident that not even the skeptic can ignore them. Rebirth doesn't come with explosions, but with remembrance. It's the return of what has always been here but forgotten. The real never disappeared. We are the ones who stopped observing it at the right frequency. When the eye awakens, creation returns. The new world will not be built with stones or laws, but with care. Each awakened soul is a brick of light in the invisible temple of the new earth. Each conscious gesture, a vibrational reprogramming in the code of reality. But beware. The birth of a new universe requires the complete death of the old. Many will try to recreate the old world within the new frequency, and they will fail. Density has nowhere left to hide. Everything dissonant will be brought to light to be purified. This is the true separation between the realms. There is no punishment, only adjustment. The vibration of falsehood cannot coexist with living truth, and this truth now vibrates within every awakened observer. The universe breathes again, and we breathe with it. Chaos was merely the necessary exhalation before the inhalation of light. The world will not end, it will awaken, and whoever is present at that moment will perceive something that no words can describe. The feeling that the universe has finally opened its eyes, and they are yours. There is a silence after the revelation, a silence so profound that it seems to contain all the answers. It is in this silence that the observer realizes there is nothing more to seek. Everything that existed to be found was always within. The cosmic journey, the rifts in time, the parallel realities. Everything was a mirror guiding the soul back to itself. Creation is a gaze that never closes, a song that never ends. The universe did not begin with a big bang. It begins now, every time you observe it. The enduring gaze is the end point and the origin of everything. It is the consciousness that continues even when forms dissolve. It is the flame that watches the ages pass, the worlds be born, and the stars fade. And yet, it remains. You are that flame. The entire universe exists within your capacity to perceive. When you look, the infinite reveals itself. When you love, the infinite recognizes itself. The awakened observer is the living verb of creation, the silent word that sustains being. From this moment on, awakening is no longer theory, it is practice. Each breath is an opportunity to observe with love. Each instant of presence is a crack open to the eternal. The reality that is born now is made of pure consciousness. It is not a new world outside of us, but within. The crack in time does not close. It transforms into a mirror, reminding us that everything we observe is sacred, because everything is an extension of the same divine gaze. Ancient prophecies called this time the dawn of eternity. It is not an event. It is a state. It is the continuous awakening of consciousness within the human form. Those who hold the gaze now are helping the universe remember itself. They are seeds of light planted in the soil of time, preparing the harvest of a new era. The apocalypse was never destruction. It was the unveiling of what has always been hidden behind the veil of perception. And if you felt this vibration in your chest, if something within you remembered what you've always known, it's because the call has arrived. Write in the comments, I feel the calling. With each soul you awaken, the universe becomes more aware of you. The gaze that lingers observes everything, and through you, it smiles.